is Isaac Hernandez.
I'm Holly McClure.
And this is Faith on Film, a program designed to keep you aware and informed on everything that's happening in the world of faith and family entertainment. Holly, how are you doing today?
Doing great and glad to be with you, Isaac. I'm excited for this show.
This is going to be an interesting show because it technically is a follow-up to last week's show, which kind of got us a lot of response.
And it's talking about one of my favorite movies of all time, Top Gun Maverick.
Yes. But before we do that, I do want to give a little bit of an update on the other movie that we really dealt with a lot last week, which was Doctor Strange. And I remember we just talked about how dark it was, and really not just dark, it was demonic, wasn't it?
Demonic. Evil.
Yeah. So my brother-in-law, his son wanted to go see the movie, and so he called his dad and said, "Hey, let's go watch this movie." So he went to see the movie, and as soon as it was over, he called up my wife and said, "I just went to go see this movie, and I got to tell you, it was the most demonic thing I've ever seen." So my wife tells him, "Well, didn't you watch Isaac and Holly's show this week?"
You go, Gladys. Yay, Gladys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Had he watched it, I think he may have said, "No, let's go watch, I don't know, Downton Abbey."
Because that's what Faith on Film is designed to do. Not just talk about Christian film and Christian projects.
Right.
We're here to inform you parents and even those people who don't have kids, but you wonder what a movie's about, if you should go see it. That's what we're here to talk about, is the good, the bad, the ugly, and the important.
Yeah, and we don't tell people don't go see this. For the most part, we just say, look, this is the ingredients that are in this movie, and you decide, like you always say, choose your movies wisely. To do it wisely, they have to at least know what's in it. So that's right. That's what you do. That's what you've done for years. That's what you're an expert at, and that's why I'm so glad you're on this show now regularly.
Thank you, Isaac. I love that you love that we're together again doing this, because this is fun talking about our favorite thing, movies, but also helping people. And if we help one person, save one person from not going to see the garbage, and then that's worth it, because we've saved one person from not opening their eyes and maybe their soul and heart to stuff they don't need to.
Yeah, and usually the movies that you review and you kind of let people know what they're about and let them decide are movies that have things like, I don't know, bad language, nudity, lots of sex, whatever, lots of violence. But on this one, Doctor Strange, I think we really wanted to make sure people really knew what was in there, because it goes beyond just this stuff. It was just a real, like, again, and we keep saying there's a real demonic, content to it.
It was dark and it was agenda driven. It had a strong gay agenda theme to it, which, we said on the show, we're not judging anyone in that category, but we know that some people don't like to see that in movies and others love seeing it in movies. So we simply tell what's there and make people make the choice for themselves.
Yeah. And the other thing too is, I'm glad that I didn't have to go see it. I wouldn't have gone anyway. That's not my type of movie. But I'm glad that you're the one that has to endure these kind of movies.
and honestly, I was, because someone asked me about this. They said, "Well, don't you see dark things and it stays with you?" I said, "No." Years ago, that's why I feel like God called me to this. I asked the Lord, "You know what? Take it away from me so that I don't dwell on it. I don't think about it. Just remove it so that it's not there and it bothers me." And truly, it doesn't. That's the gift I've been given, is I can discern and go through and see. I'm not callous to it. I recognize it, but it doesn't stay with me. It doesn't go into my spirit where it depresses me or anything.
Well, you know what? As you said that, I just felt impressed that we really need to ask the audience to just keep you in prayer constantly, because I think, you are putting yourself out there behind enemy lines, and you definitely need God's protection. So, folks, just, it just hit me as she said that. Just pray for Holly, because she's doing this for you. She's doing this for you. So keep her in your prayers, that God will always protect her as she sees these absolutely horrible things. But I'm so glad.
And then there's the good things.
There are the good things. And there's one that apparently everybody's talking about it, aren't they? We talked about it a little bit last week, but man, it has really taken off.
It took off over Memorial Day weekend and is still going strong. And it's the movie that all America's talking about. Have you not heard someone talk about Top Gun Maverick? I don't know. It's like everyone's talking about it, and with good reason. I think we've got a trailer, or my review, don't we?
We have your review. Let's start off with that, and then we'll come back and talk about it, because I think there's lots to talk about.
This is Holly on Hollywood. Hi, I'm Holly McClure with a Holly on Hollywood movie review. Let's take a look.
What do we have here?
Top Gun Maverick stars Tom Cruise as Captain Pete Maverick Mitchell, who's brought in to train a special group of Top Gun graduates for a high-risk mission. Among the pilots is Lieutenant Bradley Rooster Bradshaw, son of Goose, Maverick's former co-pilot, who tragically died. Maverick must now find a way to resolve the past and protect Rooster for the sake of his safety and the group's future. Val Kilmer stars as Admiral Tom Iceman Kazansky, and Miles Teller stars.
First choice.
36 years after the original, the PG-13 is a tale of redemption that honors the classic. There is some language, intense aerial combat scenes, breathtaking action, authentic stunts performed by Cruise and other actors, and a love interest played by Jennifer Connelly, but no nudity or sexual situations. The story focuses on Maverick's years of experience, knowledge, and humble attitude that at first are challenged by the young and overly confident pilots, but soon all come to respect, admire, and learn from Maverick, including Rooster. I love this sequel even more than the original. I laughed, cried, grieved, and cheered at the climactic ending. This is a movie Americans are flocking to. It feels good to cheer for our brave men and women in uniform and once again see America victorious in fighting for freedom. I'm happy for Tom Cruise and grateful that once again he's given us the need for speed.
My dad believed in you. I'm not going to make the same mistake.
Someone's not coming back from this.
Those are your pilots. Anything happens to them.
Smoke in the air!
You will never forgive yourself.
No turning back now.
Come on! Jeez!
Having any fun yet?
Remember to choose your movies wisely.
Wow.
I've already been to see it twice.
Twice.
Yes, I went with my family.
Okay.
So good.
So let me tell you here a quick story. You remember last time we talked about that I needed to go see Downton Abbey and then, of course,
Yes.
Top Gun.
Yes.
So my wife dying to go see Downton Abbey. We went to see Downton Abbey, and yes, we enjoyed it. And then she agreed to go to see Top Gun with me just because we like to do things together all the time. And so she thought she was going to basically take a nap during the movie. Okay. She said, I'll just sleep while you watch the movie. She absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. Was just at the edge of her seat. So I almost felt like, man, am I going to get a heart attack here? Because this is intense. But yeah, definitely a movie. Chicks, you will love this movie. Just go watch it too. It's not just a movie for guys.
It is a movie for men, women, teens, and kids who love flying and the patriotic spirit, seeing our men in uniform fight for America and freedom. I love that story about Gladys. She actually thought she could sleep during the movie. That's the part that cracks me up.
Yeah, I have no idea how she thought she was going to sleep through this movie. Obviously, just because of the action, all the jets flying, all the noise, and we didn't even go to those. That theater that the seats moved. She knew she was going to do that, but it was still very intense. So. Nope, no sleeping. But she did, but actually more than just not sleep, she enjoyed it. She really enjoyed it because it has a great story.
Yes, it has a great story. And it's the kind of movie that you can take young, old, all ages to, and they're going to enjoy this movie. It made $160 million on Memorial Day weekend, which was the largest box office opening for Tom Cruise in a movie ever. And it just is now topped up about $274 million and still going because we're heading into another weekend. So this is the biggest top grossing movie of all time for domestic wise for Tom Cruise. The only other one was War of the Worlds, and he's already surpassing that. So this is not only a good career move for him, a good movie, but in this storyline, the difference of the original Top Gun, if any of you saw it, the cocky young pilots, they're so cocky about what they can do. And it's all about them accomplishing things that they didn't think they could accomplish. But of course, the romantic interest and just being guys in the Air Force, or excuse me, the Navy. But this one, is a humbled Tom Cruise's character of Maverick. It's a Maverick that's been through life and he's seen life, and that keeps getting asked, why are you just still a captain? Why haven't you climbed on up? He goes, yeah, that's a mystery. I mean, you know there's reason why he hasn't moved up. You know that he's been a problem. They kind of revealed that with his record, but it's well known, known that he basically, had kind of really not desired to go on and go ahead. And you think, well, that's probably because of Goose's death. And it's really shown throughout the movie. He keeps saying, Goose, what do I do? Goose, what do I do? He talks to him. You can tell his death affected him probably for his life, his career. And then he saw Goose's son come up through the ranks, Rooster, and he tried to protect him, because he didn't want him to meet the same fate. So there's a good storyline there about the generation. You see flashbacks of Meg Ryan, and you see flashbacks of when they were young. So they pull from the original Top Gun movie. They build the storyline about the cocky pilots that are still this day. But there wasn't really the mean spirit there that was kind of in the first movie.
Yeah.
Really is more of a, I think, don't you think, Isaac, they didn't have the guys were competing with each other, but they weren't mean to each other.
Right.
They weren't trying to put each other down. Everyone was very supportive. So it's a supportive team, supportive people who eventually really respect Maverick and respect who he is and what he does, and follow him because he literally shows them how to save their life. He saves the program and he shows them how to save their lives. And so it's just got a lot of more emotional depth than the first one. So if you saw the first one, you're like, yeah, no, I've seen it before. You haven't. You've not seen it before. Trust me, right, Isaac?
Interestingly enough, when we came back, Gladys said, you know what? I don't remember the first one. She said, I don't even remember if I saw it. So we figured, well, let's check it out. So we watched the movie, and yes, we did see the difference. And yes, well, I remember that it was a good movie. It was, again, that was a fun movie for guys. But we realized that this one was better. It really was better.
It was a fun movie for girls too. Take My Breath Away. Are you kidding? Everyone was singing that song all through the 80s. Take my breath away. Oh my gosh, we sang that song. The girls were loving that song. And that's another thing. The romance in this movie is harmless. There's no nudity. There's no sex. You don't have to worry about your kids seeing that. Yes, there was a little bit of language from the military guys, but it didn't feel overt where I was offended, and there wasn't a lot of GDs. There wasn't a lot of things in there that could have been. I'm telling you, Tom Cruise played it smart. He knew that, and boy, he made this movie, guys, before COVID. It was supposed to have been released in 2020 that summer, but COVID hit. And he promised the guys that were in the movie, he said, you will all get to walk the red carpet. I will not let this movie be released until it's in a big theater, until it's done on the big screen, which, by the way, if you can go watch it on a big screen. Like Isaac said, don't do the one necessarily with the seats shake, but IMAX. Did you know that IMAX, you get another 23, I think, inches or frames? You get another 23 frames in an IMAX that wasn't on a smaller screen or on the other screens. So you actually see more of the movie. Yeah, you get to see more of the movie in IMAX. So I just am telling you, this is a movie. And I think for the men and women who remember how patriotic we were at one time in this country, who love America, who remember what the 80s was like when we had a president we really liked and admired, and, you know, the whole nation felt that way and we were all supportive, especially with the Navy. This is one of those movies that lets you feel proud in a lot of areas. Funny thing, small note, he on his promo, on his jacket, and I think it was Taiwan and South Korea, he had, emblems, patches. Well, the Chinese said, take it off. We don't want that on there. So they took it off to promote it for trailers. Well, guess what? Stayed on. Tom Cruise kept it on his jacket in the movie, and China saw it, and now they banned it so it can't be seen in China, which may be about $80 million it'll cost them, but they don't care. It stayed on. Tom Cruise said, no, we're keeping that on there. So I just love it. It's like every little thing along the way. And especially the fact that Val Kilmer got to be in it and he fought for him to be in it. So you see that. Also, I think is interesting, Isaac, Warner Brothers just announced that they're redoing everything to focus on Superman. And they want Henry Cavill to play Superman. There was a black Superman in line. There was another Superman that was kind of an iffy one. He scrapped them all, the head of Warner Brothers, and said, no, we're going to bring back and focus on Superman, and we're going to have Henry Cavill. You know what that tells me? That tells me they see the patriotism. They see the box office. They see how people love America. They see how people want a hero that stands for what's right and wrong. I'm telling you, studios, that's my first hint, and I think that's directly, you could argue a bit, I think that's directly because of Top Gun, that's happening.
Wow. So you think maybe that trend is now going to
Are you kidding? When theaters are seeing how all their woke movies and their evil movies, like, yeah, Doctor Strange did well because it's Marvel, but other movies that have come out that are woke and all this and all that have not done well at the box office. And so studios were saying, well, you can't get audiences back because of COVID. You can't get them back to the theaters. You think this proves that audiences will go to theaters if you have a worthwhile movie there. And that's what shook up the whole industry right now. They're all re-looking at the movies that they're releasing, and they're rethinking because they realize, guess what? Patriotism is in.
Yeah. Wow. There is hope. There is hope.
There is hope.
You don't think Marvel will eventually catch on and say, you know what, maybe we better switch?
Well, I tell you this, Disney better catch on, because Disney has announced they're going to be very woke and they have an agenda, blah, blah, blah. They better catch on because people will vote with their box office. They showed that they'll do it for this movie and what they won't do for others' movies. And so, yeah, I think it's gonna be a backlash against them. I really do.
Now, last week you mentioned something about Val Kilmer, being in the movie, and how Tom said he wouldn't do the movie unless Val was in it. But I guess somebody at Paramount or the producer or something didn't really want to bring him in because he has cancer. But what can you tell us about that?
Well, that's right. What happened was that Jerry Bruckheimer had said, well, Tom Cruise had come to Jerry Bruckheimer and said, I'd like to have Iceman in it. And he said, well, he's got cancer and he can't really speak well. And there's no way we can do a part for him. And he said, no, I really want him in there. And unless you have Val Kilmer, unless you have Iceman in there, I'm not going to do the movie. He goes, you have to have him in there because you have to show that rivalry, how those two came back together. And he said, well, so they said, okay, well, we're working into the script. So then they worked it into the script where he's an admiral now. And the irony is, or the sweet, I guess, the piece de resistance is that the admiral insists that Maverick is the only one that can come back and train the Top Gun guys. And so he has to come back to be able to train those guys in Top Gun. And he's the only one that can do it. So I think that the very tribute he gave to Bruckheimer to have Val Kilmer be in it, was what they used as his character. And actually the line that he speaks in the movie, it's very touching, but they rehearsed a few and then they had another guy do a line too, because it was so hard for him to speak, but he was so proud to be in it and proud to do it. And you cannot watch that movie. I know you mentioned you were very touched by it. You cannot watch it and not be teary-eyed.
Exactly. And I was going to say, because I knew that, now maybe if people don't know that, it won't be as impactful, but because I knew that whole background story, it just was such a touching moment. First of all, to see how he was talking by writing and how they wrote that in, that he would write his words on the computer, but then to actually get up and do his best to at least, say a few words. I thought that was, I teared up. I really did.
Yes. And then he says, who's the better pilot? And then Tom Cruise says, we had a good moment. Let's keep this a good moment. It was fun. There's a little lighthearted levity at the end of it, where you kind of like, oh, that laugh and chuckle. It was just so sweet to know that. And he fought hard to get him in the movie. He did.
And this speaks a lot to the character of Tom Cruise, doesn't it?
I think it does. I really think it does. And, I like to ask people to pray for him. He's in Scientology, and he is steeped in Scientology. I mean, they basically own his career and own his business. Right. So you think, oh, well, what's the point? But people, I can see a difference in Tom Cruise's character, and I can see a difference. And I'm sure he was well instructed, well groomed, and very secure with how he was going to handle everything before he got out there, because he knows he is one of those people that if he makes a mistake or does anything goofy or whatever, it's going to go against him. There's the critics out there. Right. But I mean, the character from the movie, from his character on down, he's had such class the way he handled it. And there was such humility and redemption and a softness to his character. And I think men will relate with that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And, there was something else that kind of caught my eye, and this speaks to actually the person doing the casting, but the guy that they picked to play Goose, is it Goose, the original character? The guy that they played, the guy they picked to play his son almost looked exactly like, it looked like it could have literally been his son.
Miles Tilner. The funny thing is, a little funny note on Miles Tilner is he doesn't have a mustache, and so Jerry Bruckheimer and they like CGI'd a mustache on him and then sent it to Tom so that they'd say, "Look how he looks with a mustache," because he didn't have a mustache when he auditioned, and they were like, "Look, he looks exactly like him with a mustache." So it's funny that they put that fake mustache on him so he could get the role, but the part. But yeah, yes, it is.
He did. When I was looking, I'm like, wait a minute, could that be actually his son that's also an actor or something? Because he just looks identical.
It did. It looked like that. I think it's funny. And it's just still, but while this airs in the next few days and next few weeks, the box office is breaking. It's still going crazy. People are still flocking to see it.
It
and
is.
Repeat.
And the left is going crazy over that.
They can't say a thing. They can't talk bad about it. They can't say anything bad about the patriotism. They can't talk bad about the military. They can't say a thing. And this is a movie where people get to stand up and cheer for what we know America represents, for what we know it is. And I'll tell you another movie they're going to be cheering for in very soon, this week actually, in the next week or two. Jurassic World Dominion is opening up. Now, this is the next big, and it's probably going to rival Top Gun. It's the next big box office you're going to see for the summer, and everyone is waiting. This is unique because it brings back the original cast from the very first Jurassic Park. It has, of course, Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard. They play the leads they have for the last few movies. But the first Jurassic Park, not Worlds, but Park. They have Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, who were in those first couple, and it brings them all back together because, of course, now the dinosaurs, the Isle, was destroyed and the dinosaurs are free. So now it's all over the world. Predators, is it man the predator or is man hunted? That's the thing now. And it's the frightening, scary thing. So this is going to be huge, a big movie.
Interesting that you bring it up because guess what?
What?
I happen to have the trailer for it loaded up.
Oh, all right. It's exciting. It's exciting.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's check it out then.
Okay.
Blue had a baby. That's impossible.
Hey, girl.
You look just like your mother.
I promise you, I am gonna get her back.
Genetic power has now been unleashed.
We've made a terrible mistake.
The doomsday clock might be about out of time.
If our world's gonna survive, what matters is what we do now.
I could use your expertise.
You coming or what?
A baby raptor?
I made a promise we would bring her home.
You made a promise to a dinosaur.
Yeah. What?
Everybody hold on to somebody.
That can't be right.
What is that?
Biggest carnivore the world has ever seen.
Run!
See? Not so bad.
I think it's going to be so good. I can't wait.
Okay.
And you know what? I want to tell you, I want people to support this movie. I know it may have some language, may have some stuff, I haven't seen it yet, but Chris Pratt is a Christian, and he is a real Christian in the industry, and he professes his faith, and he's bold about it, and he's taken a lot of criticism and a lot of heat. The left tried to literally get him off of movies, and people like, no, I'm sorry, he's popular, and we're not going to get rid of him, but please support for him, because he is a good Christian.
Now, before people get their laptops out and start getting ready to write us an email here, this movie doesn't look like it's intended for kids, right?
Unless your kids like to be scared to death of giant dinosaurs eating people. I don't know. I would think not. My parental guidance is no. It is, I'm sure, a PG-13 and a pretty hard PG-13. People don't pay attention to that rating, but it's there for a reason. So I'm sure it's a PG-13. And it may have some language. Like I said, folks, we're prepping you for what's coming because it's going to be the next big thing. But right. We'll see it in the next week when we review. We can talk about it because I will have seen it by then and give it a personal endorsement. But I did say go see it if you're going to go see it because Chris Pratt's a Christian and I really admire him. Yeah. And he has his boundaries of what he'll do now in films for language and things like that. So I don't know. I just enjoy him and I enjoy watching him. But I think it looks like a fun movie, fun to be scared.
It does.
But Isaac, I'm amazed how many parents bring kids to these kind of movies. I'm always forever shocked when I look around and I see them like, are you crazy? You're bringing 5 and 6 year olds, even to the previous ones. And that would have scared me to death at 6 or 7 or 8 years old, but I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, I remember being super scared the first time I saw The Birds. Remember that movie?
Yes.
I was so scared of birds after that. But yet, again, those movies didn't really have anything that is objectionable to us as Christians.
Remember how scared everyone was of Jaws? It came out in the summer, I think, of, 72 or 73? Yeah. Everyone was people wouldn't go in swimming pools because they were afraid of sharks, you know what I mean? And it was like, including me. And the people go, da-da, and you would hear water and people flipped out. So, that we as a nation, we hadn't seen anything like that. The movie audiences had not seen that kind of the way he shot it, Spielberg shot it. Yeah. So we've come a long way since then, but
well, I can't wait. I can't wait for you to go look at this movie and then bring us your review and let us know kind of what's in there so that, again, our parents can make their movie choices wisely.
Exactly.
Oh, well, it's been fun. By the way, folks, we will have interviews with some of the Christian filmmakers as well. There's just so much going on out there right now that is good in the film industry. We hadn't seen that in a long time. These movies like Top Gun, which are which again, the patriotism that is bringing back. So we just want you to know about all these. But we'll also be interviewing some Christian filmmakers and telling you all about the Christian films. Right, Holly?
Absolutely. Actors, actresses, and people in the industry. We've got some lined up. It's going to be fun.
Amen.
Keep watching.
Absolutely. And don't forget, you can watch some more shows on YouTube. Just go to Faith on Film TV on YouTube, and you'll be able to catch a lot of the past shows. And if you want to write us, just write us at faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. That's faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. And you can always follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Faith on Film TV.
And please like us. Please like us on YouTube so we can get more subscribers. Please click the subscribe button. We need to get our viewership up on YouTube. So please do us a favor and do that.
Thank you, Holly. And again, thank you again. Look forward. By the way, we have a big announcement coming up for you, maybe on the next show or the one after that, don't we?
We did. Exciting new announcement. You'll have to watch.
We won't say anything yet, but it's coming. So everybody stay tuned for those shows. All right?
It's huge.
All right. Folks, see you next week.
Thanks, Isaac.
You bet. See you next week.